I recognized his laugh before I even saw his face. It hit me across the cafe like a ghost I'd spent 10 years trying to bury. My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might actually pass out right there between the tables. I froze, halfway through a sentence, while my friend kept talking, completely unaware. Then she said his name. And just like that, everything I had carefully sealed away cracked open. I didn't say anything at first. I couldn't. My brain was scrambling to catch up with what my ears had already confirmed. She was smiling, glowing, really, the kind of smile people only have when they think they've found something real. "I can't wait for you to meet him," she said. I think I nodded. I think I smiled. But inside, something cold and familiar started spreading through my chest. Because I had already met him. And he didn't just break my heart. He ruined my life. Before all of this, my life was stable. Not perfect, but steady. I had a decent job, a small apartment, a tight circle of friends. I wasn't married, didn't have kids, but I wasn't unhappy. I thought I understood myself, my boundaries, what I would and wouldn't tolerate. That was before him. Back then, I believed in timing. In coincidence. In people showing up in your life for a reason. He showed up at a friend's birthday party. Charming, funny, the kind of man who made eye contact like you were the only person in the room. We talked for hours that night. It felt easy, natural, like something I didn't have to question. Looking back, I should have questioned everything. But I didn't. Because when someone looks at you like that, like they see you, it's hard not to want to be seen. And I wanted that more than I realized. It started fast. Too fast, probably. Within a few weeks, we were inseparable. He'd text me first thing in the morning, call me at night, show up with coffee at my place without warning. It felt intense, but in a good way. Like passion. My friends teased me about it. "Careful," one of them said. "Guys who move this fast usually crash just as hard." I laughed it off. I told myself they were just being cynical. There were small things, though. Things I noticed but chose not to dwell on. He was secretive with his phone. He'd disappear for hours sometimes and come back with vague explanations. And once, when I asked him directly if he was seeing anyone else, he hesitated just a second too long before saying no. That hesitation stayed with me. But I ignored it. Because when he was with me, he made me feel like I mattered more than anything else in the world. The first real crack came 3 months in. We were at my place, watching something I don't even remember now, when his phone lit up on the table. He had gone to the kitchen, and I wasn't trying to snoop. I swear I wasn't. But the name on the screen caught my eye. "Don't ignore me again." That's all it said. No name I recognized. Just a message that didn't sound casual. My heart started racing. I didn't open the phone. I didn't touch it. I just sat there, staring at the screen until it went dark again. When he came back, I tried to act normal. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I asked. And that's when everything started to unravel. "Who was texting you?" I asked, trying to sound casual. He didn't even look at me when he answered. "Work stuff." It was such a quick response, so rehearsed, that it made my stomach twist. "Don't ignore me again sounds like work?" I pushed. That's when he looked at me. Not angry. Not defensive. Just calculating. "You went through my phone?" "I didn't. It popped up." He sighed, like I was the problem. "It's nothing. Just someone being dramatic." That word, dramatic, landed harder than it should have. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But something shifted in that moment. A small voice in the back of my mind started whispering that things weren't what they seemed. And for the first time, I didn't completely silence it. After that, I started noticing everything. Every late reply. Every unexplained absence. Every time he turned his phone away from me. It became exhausting, second-guessing everything. I hated what it was doing to me. I wasn't the jealous type. I wasn't insecure. At least I didn't think I was. But with him, I started feeling like I was constantly competing with something I couldn't see. I brought it up again a week later. I feel like you're hiding something, I told him. He laughed. Actually laughed. You're overthinking, he said. You're going to ruin this if you keep looking for problems that aren't there. That stuck with me. Not because I believed him, but because part of me wondered if he was right. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe I was the problem. The truth came out in the worst possible way. Not through him. Never through him. It was a message. Not to me, but about me. A mutual acquaintance reached out, asking if I was still seeing him. The way she asked it felt loaded. I said yes. There was a pause. Then she sent me a screenshot. My hands were shaking before I even opened it. It was a conversation between him and another woman. Not just flirting. Not casual. They were talking about their anniversary. Their 2-year anniversary. My chest went cold. Because I had only known him for 4 months. I remember reading it over and over, like if I stared long enough, it would somehow change. It didn't. Can't wait to see you tonight. Love you. Those words burned into my brain. I felt sick. Actually sick. Like my body was rejecting the reality my mind was trying to process. I called him immediately. He didn't answer. Of course he didn't. So I texted him. Who is she? No response. Then I sent the screenshot. That's when he called back. His voice was calm. Too calm. It's not what you think, he said. I almost laughed. Because it was exactly what I thought. What is it then? I asked. Silence. Then, it's complicated. I hate that phrase now. I hated it even then. Are you with her? I pressed. Another pause. Yes, he said finally. Just like that. No apology. No hesitation. Just the truth, dropped like it didn't matter. And me? I asked. You matter too. That was the moment something inside me broke. Not cracked. Not shifted. Broke. Because I realized I had never really known him at all. The confrontation in person was worse. I demanded we meet. He showed up like nothing had happened. Calm. Composed. Almost bored. I didn't want to hurt you, he said. I remember laughing, this hollow, bitter sound that didn't feel like it came from me. You didn't want to hurt me? You built an entire relationship on a lie. He shrugged. I cared about you. Cared. Past tense. Like I was already something he had moved on from. I asked him about her. He admitted everything. They had been together the whole time. I was the side relationship. The distraction. That word still makes my stomach turn. The aftermath wasn't just painful, it was disorienting in a way I still struggle to explain. I didn't just lose him. I lost my sense of reality. Every memory I had with him suddenly felt contaminated. I would sit alone in my apartment and replay conversations, trying to pinpoint the exact moment where the truth had slipped through and I had missed it. It became obsessive. I'd remember the way he smiled at me and then immediately question it. Was that real? Or was that part of the act too? I started doubting my own instincts in a way I never had before. Friends tried to be there for me. They showed up with wine, distractions, late-night conversations. But even in those moments, I felt disconnected. Like I was slightly outside my own life, watching myself pretend to be okay. And then there was the humiliation. It clung to me. Not just because I had been cheated on, but because I had been unknowingly sharing someone. Because I had believed him so completely. Because I had defended him when people raised concerns. I stopped talking about it after a while. Not because I was over it, but because I couldn't stand hearing myself explain it anymore. It made me feel small. And I hated that feeling more than anything. Healing wasn't linear. It wasn't even consistent. Some days I felt fine, functional, even optimistic. I'd convinced myself that I had moved past it, that I had learned something valuable, that I was stronger now. And then something small would trigger me. A tone of voice. A certain phrase. Even the way someone hesitated before answering a question. And suddenly I was right back there again, questioning everything. Trust became complicated. I didn't stop dating entirely, but I approached it like someone walking through a minefield. Careful. Detached. Always waiting for the moment something would go wrong. If someone texted too much, I got suspicious. If they texted too little, I assumed they were hiding something. There was no middle ground anymore. And the worst part was, I knew it wasn't fair. These were different people. Different situations. But my brain didn't care about logic. It cared about patterns. About protection. So I kept people at a distance. It felt safer to be alone than to risk being fooled like that again. Eventually, life settled into something quieter. Smaller. Controlled. Not happy in the way it used to be, but stable enough that I could function. Until she came into the picture with him. When she first mentioned him, I didn't react immediately. It was just a name in a conversation. Easy to ignore. Easy to dismiss. But then she kept bringing him up. The way her face lit up when she talked about him, it made my stomach twist in a way I couldn't quite explain at first. I told myself I was just being sensitive. That I was projecting my past onto something completely unrelated. Then she showed me a picture. And everything inside me went completely still. It was him. Older, maybe a little more polished, but unmistakably him. The same smile. The same eyes. The same presence that once made me feel like I was the only person in the room. I felt cold all over. But I didn't say anything right away. And that's the part one still question. Why didn't I tell her immediately? I think part of me was in shock. But if I'm being honest, another part of me hesitated because she looked so happy. And I knew, what I was about to say would take that happiness away. There was also this tiny, irrational thought that maybe, just maybe, he had changed. People do change, right? But deep down, I didn't believe that. Not really. Keeping it to myself didn't last long. Every time she talked about him, it felt like pressure building in my chest. Like I was holding in something that was going to explode if I didn't let it out. She told me how attentive he was. How he remembered little details about her. How safe she felt with him. That word, safe, almost made me flinch. Because I had felt the exact same way once. And I knew how false that sense of safety could be. The breaking point came when she started talking about a future with him. Casually, at first. Then more seriously. Trips they wanted to take. Plans they were making months ahead. I couldn't sit there and listen to that, knowing what I knew. So I told her. Not dramatically. Not all at once. It came out in pieces. At first, she didn't understand. Then she thought I was mistaken. Then she got defensive. "You're sure it's the same person?" she asked, her voice tight. I nodded. "I wish I wasn't." And then I told her everything. The messages. The lies. The other woman. The way he had juggled two lives without hesitation. She listened, but I could see the shift happening in real time. Not belief. Resistance. She didn't call me a liar. But she didn't fully believe me either. She asked him about it. Of course she did. And just like before, he had an answer for everything. He told her I was someone from his past who couldn't let go. He said I was exaggerating. That I had misunderstood the situation. That things had been messy, but not the way I described. And somehow, that was enough for her to doubt me. She came back to me with questions, but not the kind that seek truth, the kind that try to poke holes. "Why didn't you tell me sooner? Are you sure you weren't just assuming things? Maybe it wasn't as serious as you thought?" Each question felt like a quiet accusation. Like I was the unreliable one. Eventually, the conversations became strained. Then less frequent. Then non-existent. She chose to stay with him. And I chose to walk away. Not out of anger, but out of self-preservation. Because watching her fall for the same person, the same patterns, the same carefully crafted version of him, it felt like reliving my own past in slow motion. And I couldn't do that again. I still think about her sometimes. I wonder if she sees it now. If the cracks have started to show. Or if she's still where I once was, believing, trusting, hoping. All I know is this. I told the truth. And sometimes, that's all you can do. Even if no one wants to hear it.